Let's take these issues one by one. Let me start with you, Tia Frank. Is the FCT safe, or how safe really is the FCT? The minister says no cause for alarm, Abuja is safe.
Maybe you just want to hear it from me, but you know, it's the general understanding and the feeling in the FCT is that it's not safe. And if you ask me how safe is the FCT, is in relation to how safe it used to be. Those of us who moved here about 20 years ago can still have a point of reference. What we see now is a crisis situation. And what makes it even more critical is that there is no commensurate response on the part of the authorities. So the residents of the FCT are actually feeling very, very hopeless when it comes to security and safety. Apart from gated estates, which are still having a lot of troubles, because the problem we always have is that we recruit the worst among us, those who are jobless, who we think that don't have much rights to man the gates, to man the security posts in these estates. That's why you always hear about this compromise of security in the estates, which used to be a haven of safety for the residents. And then, if you now look at the streets of the FCT, I mean, even in the city center, and I'm particular with Area 1, for example, the Gwagwalada Junction there, it's a beehive of criminality, lawlessness, recklessness, and it seems as if the authorities deliberately look away in order not to upset the status quo there, and that's a breeding ground. And another thing is that once you see this criminal element often sense a vacuum of lawlessness, is a certain failure on the part of law enforcement, and they take advantage of it. That's how we started, from Boko Haram to from insurgency to now. They've seen it that the FCT is so porous, it can be invaded anytime, and now they're moving their headquarters to this place, and that's why we're having it used to be the outskirts of the FCT, talking about Maraba and Karu and the rest of them, but now it's in the city center. So the one chance has increased, and then if you want to really sense the insecurity, the lawlessness in the FCT, even in the daytime. Look at how the residents, when they drive, how careless, how much they disregard traffic rules, because they know that there is nobody that will enforce any of the such things. And that's the same way you can determine that nobody cares what happens in the night. There is a problem, and I close with this because I know you're eager to ask another question. Let me tell you this: this city ought not to sleep. The FCT Police Command ought not to shut down at any particular time. The policemen don't have to close for duty for a day in a day. And the same thing applies to the force headquarters. You don't have to shut. If you pass through the force headquarters on your way here, it's shut. I mean, you won't see any lights going on. So where's the command and control center of the FCT? Right. Who is watching over the FCT? Nobody. Again, this is not a blame game.
We'll come back. Who is watching over the FCT? Sally, two things he said there before I pick up some other questions. Crisis situation. What has changed? Has anything changed? He talked about when he moved in 20 years ago, says things have changed. What has changed if things have changed? Is it a crisis situation really, or is it a hyperbole? Is he blowing it up?
A lot of things have changed, like Mr. Titi said, for people that were in the FCT, even at the time Babangida moved the seat of power from Lagos to Abuja and extending to Shonekan and Abacha, where we knew from Area 1 up to Aso Drive, up to the expressway to Asokoro, particularly under Abacha administration, you see combined security forces made up of DMI, Director of Naval Intelligence, you made up of a strike force and others in GMC vehicles, which I know Mr. Titi knows. They overround the metropolitan part of the FCT city center. Then they coordinate. Then Ibrahim Kumasi of blessed memory was the Inspector General of Police. For every area council that had divisional headquarters, every DPO was given that mandate of being in charge of surveillance. Then there used to be surveillance station wagons, 504, I can still remember, boldly written by the doors, where you see both police officers in mufti and others in uniform patrolling. But these things have today changed, where Itato, the criminal activities are in outskirts. But now, like he emphasized, don't forget when Bennett Igwe was CP here, was when certain things were tackled. But before his appointment, there were complete families that were kidnapped in Buhari Area Council, where Ushapa and other areas became no-go area until the Special Intervention Squad of the IGP, then led by Ben Igwe, retired now, led a flotation to go and confront most of these kidnappers in the bush, even though they had gas brigades and host of others. So majorly now, surveillance is lacking, intelligence is lacking, gathering is lacking. And I can tell you, in the police there, nothing stops the FCT Police Command. And ironically, the first headquarters that is just away from the presidential villa have by its side miscreants. If you go to Sheikh Mahmoud Gumi College, opposite the police secondary school, by the left, the whole of the gardens there are people that have no business being there. They sleep there. Sometimes around 11, you cannot pass there. They will take your phone when you stop for traffic. traffic. Then again, go to central area near Sahad, near City Plaza, National Mosque. Severally, I have assisted victims after they are robbed between Tofa House to that junction. By 8 o'clock, they come from that plantation, banana plantation that is behind the Sheraton Hotel and Towers. They rob and go in there. During one of my interaction with the Federal Secretariat Divisional Headquarters, one of the police officers who spoke to me under condition of anonymity said it is not their fault that they normally carry out disguised patrol, not even convoy patrol. When they apprehend these boys and charge them to court, to their surprise, they see them on the streets. So beyond just the policing, the judiciary in FCT needs to be effective as well, because when a police officer does his job, arrest, you arraign, then you remand, then tomorrow they see them, what happens?
One would, apparently from what you're saying, things have changed, but one would even ask, because you mentioned people loitering in the area, the question one would ask, should people be loitering in that area? But what's your sense of the work of our security agencies? I want you to bear this in mind. Now, Defense Headquarters says ongoing military operations in September have yielded massive results. 450 terrorists arrested, 180 kidnapped victims rescued, and he has 39 terrorists surrendered to the military. And then, of course, there were so many other weapons, ammunition, even 100 and something million naira recovered. This looks like a good work, even though some could argue should the people be kidnapped in the first instance as a failure of security? So when you juxtapose this that they're doing here, and then I ask you the question, what's your sense of the work of our security agencies? How do you analyze that?
I made up my mind not to engage in a blame game, but you raise the issues of believability here, because while you reeled out quite a number of statistics when the bulletin started, Nigerians struggle to believe all of those things and wonder whether those things ever happened, because the sense of security and safety, it's not there. You get it? So let it not be that these are all opportunistic statements that are meant to, give a sense of duty to the fact that, to the president that they're working, whereas Nigerians don't feel safe. Yeah, you need to look at the green picture that Saliu painted. It's not sad that he's referring to area 11. Force headquarters, and I once lived in 17 Lord Lugard Street, and look at, so I very much corroborate all of the things he said. In fact, the situation is worse than the picture he painted. And if that can happen in a city center, which is about less than 5 minutes walk, I didn't say drive, to the force headquarters. Now imagine what could be happening in Cuba, where the veterinary doctor has just been kidnapped and killed. Imagine what will happen in Cuba, in Maraba, as if the people who live in Maraba are not human beings like us. Or what will happen for that? Now let me tell you, because you asked a pointed question. No, you asked a pointed question. The pointed question is that how do we look at the work of our security operatives? The truth about it is that they're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed. First of all, they are under-equipped. They're few, and then they are poorly managed. So, if you drive around the city tonight, and you see, and drive in a Mercedes-Benz, and what they will tell you, and they will show you undue obeisance, undue courtesy, because they just want to be gratified, right? Is that how to do policing? You want to stay on the street or the FCT to beg money, and you say that's policing? So there's a fundamental problem with our systems. I am not going to blame anybody, because the problem is systemic. You cannot have a chairman in Abuja Municipal Area Council, and he's not responsible for providing security, and he goes for an election, he wins, he obtains political power, political responsibility. What is the Minister Wike saying? That he's responsible with security in this territory? He is not, and he knows. Does he control a police force? Does he recruit a police force? Can he fire the FCT police commissioner today? Can he give a matching order that if anything happens on this area and such an area, you lose your post tonight? And then you see the self-motivation on the part of the policemen to act. There is no motivation. There is a level of irresponsibility, and it's the system that engenders irresponsibility on the part of the people that are supposed to provide security. That's what the problem is.
You have raised an issue, systemic. Sometimes you say you overflog a thing, but you can't help talk about it. Now, in addition with the things you said, systemic problem, are the masses safe? I am talking about the fact that, for example, the president, the members of the NAS, the elite, basically, are protected even with taxpayers' money. But people, like the doctor that was just killed, like my colleague at Armed Robbers, went to her house, and she's no more with us today. The people don't have such security. And they have security with taxpayers' money. Saliu.
Well, with the physical things I've seen, if you know Zone A legislative quarters, just last year, there was a director of Department of State Services. His house was robbed. They came from the cemetery side. In In fact, the DPO then, as well as another IO, that is intelligence officer from DSS, that went to carry out some background check, I had certain interaction with them. Then don't forget also of a retired brigadier general in one of the estates. So the issue now is not only the masses that are not safe, both the higher echelons. Because these days what they do, they go in global estate there near Lokogoma, they went through the fence, used dynamite and gained entrance without the knowledge of the security. Then there are also problems in some of these estates which needed to be addressed. You see, the security committee of the estates, they employ the services of private securities. Some of these private securities, you don't profile them, you don't carry out background information, you just recruit them. There was a time a DPO of a division, there was an issue and he went there and the securities at the gate said, sir, you cannot go in because we are not a Nigerian police. You can see people who are custodians of internal security. Beyond that, this Asokoro you are talking about, the only area I've not heard of, maybe because the DSS headquarters is there and is close to Villa, is Aso Drive. But Asokoro, Maitama, and other eyebrow areas, even Katampe, where they kill one of your staff, if you go there, most of the senators and House of Rep members now have their edifices there. These miscreants go there, and certain things are responsible. The porous nature of the exit and entrance points. When you go to Nyanya Maraba entrance from Nasara and other states, when you go to Zuba axis from Kaduna and other states, when you go to the Gwagwalada axis, they are not well manned. I want to assure you now, if I have RPG, AK-47, and other dynamites in my boots, and I want to transport it to Abaji, all I just need to do, like Mr. Tete said, is I will hire one good-looking vehicle, wear my portable Babariga, look for one boy to disguise like a DSS with suit in front. When we get there and they on the light, I say, how are you and what have you? Let me do welfare for you. So they already have psychology of what they do. Even within the metropolis, I want to tell you, from 12 o'clock, you are on your own. Severally.
Okay. Now you've raised that issue. We've talked about the problems and the problems and the problems. In fact, I was wondering whether you were defending the elite. You know, but I guess you were trying to tell me that it cuts across.
Yes,
all right, but then, two questions before we run out of time. Now, what are the authorities, the security agencies doing right? What should they be doing? What should the people be doing? And why is the issue of security and the issue of, for example, it's not just security, you have the light problem over decades. Let me put it in perspectives. Well, okay, let me leave that out because I couldn't really get checked. My fact check didn't show me anything on that. So what are the security agencies doing that they're not doing? What should they be doing? What should the people be doing? We're looking for solutions.
So first, we have a large number of persons in our country that are unemployed, especially streaming from northern Nigeria, and then coming into the FCT and they're living in shanties, creating shanties overnight. A large number of people, and unfortunately, the people responsible for environmental cleanup in the FCT are also overwhelmed. Yes, did you refer to light? The Minister of the FCT has somehow improved in that regard. There's no doubt about that. Lighting up the place with some very colorful, bright lights in the night in some areas.
Has light improved in your area?
I'm talking about solar lighting for the streets. I see a lot. I see some improvement.
I just choose that to refer to the fact.
So it doesn't become a criticism spree. You said what were they doing right? The fact that they could put light for a long time between I'm fascinated by Area 1. There's a reason why. Between that stretch of the Area 1 road through to before was always to remain dark in front of Raja Plaza, which incidentally was the first place I landed in Abuja. There has always been perpetually dark. But now, interestingly, I passed there a few days ago, and then there are now these new green lights and white lights provided by the FCT. Fantastic, but how does that come? You see, unemployment is great. Now you refer to about exit and entry points, but you see, the real problem is these shanties that that harbor these criminals. Now they see the contrast between their life of squalor and the life of opulence. And I'm glad that even the escapist mentality of our leaders that look, let's send our children abroad and let's ultimately just get out the resources we can get out from Nigeria, go abroad. It's not going to work anymore, because one day you come for that cultural event, you come for that burial event, and you see how safe it is, in Nigeria. So look, we've got to now come back and design a system. And I'm very happy that the National Assembly has acknowledged the fact that there ought to be state police. And so we are having a constitutional amendment process going on now. So there's a possibility that people will become more responsible for policing. But beyond that, we should have police at all local levels, so that policing, you see, the essence of organizing a polity, organizing a state is just around security and nothing more. It's not about business. Look, we run a free market economy, provide security and let people just live their lives with liberty. If you are failing, and this is a strong appeal to our president. Our president must remember that he was once a governor, and he was the chief campaigner for state police when he was governor, because he realized how important it was for him as governor to control and determine the security of Lagos State. Now he's president.
Police is going to solve the issues.
Look, state police will only make our political leaders responsible. Our system is making them lose a sense of responsibility. How can you go to sleep at night when you know that your people are not safe? Because
of time, the issue he's addressing, what are they doing right? What are they not doing right? What should the people be doing? We're looking at solving this seemingly intractable issue of security that seems to be burgeoning, and that the state can't handle it. It doesn't seem to be able to handle it.
Security is a very, very expensive venture. When you want to create state police, you need training colleges, uniforms, utility vehicles, arms and armaments, and host of other things. For state governors, that are not able to pay 70,000 minimum wage, take care of residual creations like VIO and state fire service. What more of a very, very larger force like state police, where you are going to need different squads, you are going to need training, uniforms, utility vehicles, arms and armament. Today, there are certain countries that if you are not dealing with the federal government, they won't even sell arms to you and all sorts of other things. So our governors are not yet ripe for state police, because with due respect to them, there is no democracy in there.
What are they? Look at the opportunity cost. What are they doing with the money they are now using for policing? All the time, all the equipment that they fund, if they use it funding state police, come from the government. No, let our people be responsible, please.
There are also the issues of governors and their authority and what they will do with state police. But that's a talk for another day. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much, security analyst.
Alpha, you've just listened to that. The thing is, they are talking about Abuja, FCT, the capital city of Nigeria, is what they are talking about. That is not safe. I hope you get that clear. Abuja is not safe. I'm not the one. These people live in Abuja. Very good. Now, talking about Abuja, is Abuja safe or Abuja not safe? They say Abuja is not safe. Now, if Abuja is not safe, tell me where is that? Which part of the country that is safe? You can boldly tell somebody that you live in the Nigeria, a country that is safe, free of insecurity, free of banditry, free of Boko Haram, free of whatever insecurity you could talk about. You call it one chance, armed robbers, whatever. If Abuja is not safe, is it in my village that the governor of my state does not even know if that community, for example, exists? Some communities like that in the villages where there is no signs of governance. The people, those community members, they are just doing their things. They don't even know if there is even governor in the state. Tell me if Abuja is like this, Abuja is not safe. Tell me. That means there's a lot of problem. We have a long way to go. Nothing to do. Now Wike is saying he's not in control of this security we are talking about. Wike cannot fire this Inspector General Police or even the Commissioner of the Wike cannot fire. He's not in control of them. You are in FCT Minister. Your power is limited for those people you can control that are under you. Do you understand? So the country is not safe. The country is breathing. Insecurity is taking over. What are the solutions? The solution is Tinubu and they need to speed up their game. They need to wake up, act very fast. If they want to employ more police, then this issue of state policing, do that very fast, so that every state have control of their security police, so that they can fight these people the way they're choosing. Not like every state has to apply the same measure. No, it's not working. This is a federal police. Now every state is applying the same measure to fight these people. These people are criminals. They are 419. They are criminal. They are bandits. They are murderer. So you don't fight these people with mercy. They don't have mercy on you on what they are doing. No. So fighting them, you don't have to have mercy on them. They don't deserve to live. So we now have state policing giving power to state governors. So some governors, they know what to do. If they try to apply that measure, they do not have control of the security of the police. The police are not listening, are not taking instructions from governors. We say that many times. If a governor should call a police of his state, he will tell you that, hey, I'm not taking order from you. You are not my boss. That's police. They will tell you. After all, yes, they are not under your control. You are not their boss. They don't take instruction from the governor of a state. They take instruction from Inspector General of Police. It's just like a minister that a state governor appoints. A IG or police does not have control over that. It is the state governor that have control over. It's the same thing. So different governors have different measure, different plans when it comes to security issues. They have different structure. They will restructure the architecture of police architecture. They will restructure in their own state so that they can work, give them matching order. But there's nothing like that. And for the general, they are using the same method. It's not working. And it's full of corruption. Do you understand? So at least there should be a sense of respect. If it's not under governor of the state, there should be a sense of respect. Governor can fire. If a police is not working, you say you can fire. Yeah, you can fire and hire. But now it's not so. There's a problem. Now, if Abuja is not safe, is it your village? So is your village safe? No. No. Is it your village that is safe? Your village where there is no light, 7 p.m. everywhere blackout. There's no even police in your community, or only one police, police station, and that police station is the one guiding about 5 communities. One police stations, and that police station, it have cruising time because of insecurity or that's it surrounding. They cruise. Police station is 24/7. They don't cruise. But some police stations in some community, they cruise. 7 p.m., 8 p.m. they cruise. If you go to police station at that time, nobody on duty because they said they are scared. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is a lot of issues, a lot going on. You just need to speed up their game, wake up and do the needful, so that we're talking, there is no actions. This is, they're not doing this, they are not doing that. The insecurity level is only increasing, and it will be a problem for the next person to come. That is just it. That's the truth. Anyways, what do you think? They just need to speed up, and they say police, they need to do according to the job they were hired to do, not just to go there and start collecting change money, this and this and that, because their welfare has not been looked into. There's no welfare. It's very bad, very poor pay. It contributes to the problem why they are corrupt, why they don't have time to do their job. They only have time to collect from you. If you can look into their welfare, that means you are that is it. So you get what I'm saying? It's problem. Federal government, speed up your game and rescue Nigerians. The country is going down. If it worse than this, if care is not taken, there will be more problems. The problem is everybody could see the problem already. So what do you think? Please share this video and make sure you tell government to speed up their game to secure this country. The country is breathing. Please share this video and subscribe for more. I'll be your guy. Now run out for me. Please subscribe.